Okay, now I am going to discuss about the Terraform workspaces. What exactly is a Terraform workspaces and why do we require it? See, when you are dealing with the large organization, there for every project there are particular teams that are allocated. For example, there is some team that is working on some payment system of a particular website. Let's consider it as a Stripe. Stripe is a payment method through which you can able to take the money out of the customer and provide the service according to that. And the Stripe is, it is providing a payment interface and some team is working on that particular project. So the organization will allocate some resources in the development team, allocate some resources in the stage team, and allocate some resources in the prod team. So in the development team, they are developing everything as I previously discussed in the GitHub tutorial. They are, their development goes in the four ways. First of all, they will create some features. Okay, these are the features that has to be there in the Stripe payment. And the second one, they will push this particular code into the release file. Once everything is done, everything is clear, like unit tests are running and everything is running, they will push this particular thing or merge this particular thing in the main file. Once main file is done, there is something called as a release file. This is the one that is visible for the end user. At last, there is a hot fixes. For example, if the end user is facing some issue, in such case you pull the code and you update or you make some changes so that end user can his experience to be smooth. So in such condition, he is having the four repos and he is dealing with it. So you have to have a dedicated environment for him to deal with all the products. So in the stage file, what happens, you are having a testing team that is testing all your code. It is checking are all the unit tests are good, and it is testing are all the integration testing what we have done is good, and after that they are performing the automation testing to verify everything is good and fine. They are also doing load balancing, those all things. And we have the production where your code is put into some live machine or the load balancer, API servers, and it is now visible for end user. He can able to use it. Therefore whole of the organization is divided into particular chunks like dev, stage, and prod. As I previously discussed, development team is doing some features, pushing it into main file and making it into a release file and making hot fixes. For those all things, they also require some resources. Let's consider you are using a free resource like the t2.micro. In the instance, EC2 instance, I already discussed about the t2.micro. It is a type that is a free, and it comes with a free tire. Okay, in the stage team, the code is too huge because in the development team, you are dealing with the chunks of code. In the stage team, you are dealing with the whole of the software. They are also checking unit tests, they are checking the integration testing, they are also checking the automation testing. Therefore, they require some huge resource. Let's consider they require the t2.media, and the production team where a lot of traffic is coming to your machine. At over there, you require some additional resources that are huge in nature. So let's consider you are using t2.large. Here we have segregated all of your resources. So how you create these all the things inside the Terraform? Because when you create t2.micro, now the staging environment requires t2.medium, and all of them are working continuously in the DevOps manner. Like some developer is making changes, the stage team where the tester is testing everything, production team is producing that, and if there are issues, then it is sent to development team, he is making changes, and this is continuous. So all of the resources must be in a live position. It's not like that, okay, development team work is done, let's switch off the resources and go for the stage. No, it won't happen like that. Therefore you cannot create it manually. Okay, the development team, they require t2.micro. I will write t2.micro in my main.tf file, execute it. After that I will execute t2.medium. After that I will execute t2.launch. No, it is not gonna happen. It is not a efficient way also. Therefore what you write, you will write the tf values for everything, like dev.tf values, where you mention my ec2 instance name is t2.micro. In the stage you mention my ec2 instance is t2.medium, and in the prod you write t2.extra large. Okay, you written everything. And what happens when you start executing that, the first t2.micro is created. After when stage requirement requires that, it will create t2.medium overriding the previous one. It will override the previous one. It will just make that into stagnant, and it will create a t2.medium. When prod is required, it will create t2.large, and it will make the previous one stagnant, making it live by overriding the resources. This is not an efficient way. As I previously discussed, every team must be in a live state. It doesn't have to override the previous resource and make that resource stagnant. It is not going to happen. Therefore we came up with something called as a workspaces. Now what exactly workspaces does? It will create a different state file for everything. Previously I discussed about the state file. It stores the information about your Terraform files, the main.terraform, what all things it is getting, it is executing. So when you create a workspace for dev file, a separate state file is created. And when you create a workspace for stage file, a separate stage file, a separate state file for the stage is created. Same thing for the prod. When you create a separate workspace for the prod, it is gonna create a separate a separate what you call the state file for the prod. So whenever you are making the changes are only affected inside the dev file. So nothing will be overridden, because your state file is storing the information about the development team, and whatever changes you make, it is only related to the dev team. It is not affected in the stage file, because you are not changing anything related to the state file. The state file related to dev are only affected inside dev. The state file that are related to stage only affected inside stage. The state file that are particularly for production are only affected inside the production. Therefore you came up with a solution like workspaces, where every state file is located for a different sorts of environment. So how to create these workspaces? We have something called as Terraform workspace new, and you have to mention the dev or stage or the prod. It's gonna create a particular environment, a particular state file for that particular dev team, and inside that you can create the main.tf. And when you execute anything inside the dev team related to the main.tf, it is only updated inside the state file of that dev team. Okay, fine. Now we have the selecting environment. When you are working, you have to select the TV. You cannot work on multiple things at the same mode of time. You have to select some workspaces, and you have to make some changes over there, and when you execute, the list of resources are created accordance with that. And this is how we go with the workspaces. I will deep dive into the practicals in upcoming videos, and this is all about it. Thank you.